Well, welcome to the Jefferson Seed Library Seed Saving Seminar. If you're going to go to all the trouble of saving your own seeds, you want to know what makes a healthy seed and how do you produce those healthy seeds. And then you also want to know how to produce true to type seeds, and we're going to go over 3 easy steps of how to prevent cross-pollination. The Jefferson Seed Library is made possible by donations from Howington Feed and Supply, Burpee, and of course, community members like you. Thank you. So the characteristics of a healthy seed that you're looking for are viability, vigor, size, and maturity. Viability, of course, is the life that the seed has. You're looking for how many seeds are going to germinate. Vigor is the energy that the seed has. How vigorous are those seedlings when they sprout? You're looking for a good size. You want large seeds, whether they're small seeds like basil or larger seeds like okra. You want large, fully formed seeds. And you're also looking for, did the seeds mature? Did the plants have everything that they need to be fully mature? When you're looking for size and maturity, these are completely inseparable. To have viable seeds, you want fully formed and mature seeds. The size and maturity of the seed directly relates to the survivability of that seedling once it's planted. Large and mature seeds have more stored energy in that seedling that will nourish those seedlings when they're sprouting, so they will be strong and vigorous. The best way to produce large, mature seeds is to allow those seeds to fully ripen on the plant before harvesting them. Every seed in the Jefferson Public Library website has information on how to harvest the seeds, so you will know when those seeds are mature and ready for harvest. This is an example of our pumpkin brochure. It has some very important information that you will need to know for seed saving. It'll have the scientific name up at the top. It will also have what level it is in terms of the ease of how to save seeds. In our catalog, it ranges from easy, medium, to difficult. Pumpkins are in the medium category because there's a little more work involved in saving the seeds. Once you harvest it, you got to let the pumpkin cure, and then when you cut it open, you have to clean all those wet seeds. You're also looking for viability and vigor in the seeds that you're saving. Again, viability and vigor are not inseparable. Seeds that sprout under ideal conditions need to have enough viability, enough life, and enough vigor, enough stored energy to survive the storage process, be able to sprout, and then survive that from sprouting after germination to grow into plants. If the seeds don't even sprout under ideal conditions, they're not going to survive storage, let alone grow into plants. When you're saving seeds, you can run a test to see, are your seeds that you saved even viable? You can get a damp paper towel, put your seeds on that paper towel, keep it moist, and then to see how many seeds sprout. The higher the germination rate, the better chance that your seeds are going to survive that storage process before you plant them the following planting season. These are okra seeds that I saved, and you can see there's a really high germination rate. So these seeds have a lot of life, and they will sprout and grow into good plants. These are also the okra seeds that I saved. When you're saving your seeds, what you're looking for in size and maturity, the saved seeds should look basically identical to the store-bought seeds. If they do, then you know that they're good, they're mature, and they will most likely grow into good plants. So healthy seeds come from healthy plants. Of course, that just makes sense. The health of the parent plant is not only important for the health of the seeds that plant will produce, but it can affect future generations as well. Diseased plants are going to pass on disease pathogens to through their seeds to those plants. And if you keep saving those seeds, that cycle is just going to keep continuing. So one of the best practices is just don't save seeds from diseased plants. You can see some very unhealthy looking tomatoes here. I don't think you'd want to eat those tomatoes, let alone save seeds from them. Whatever is wrong with those plants, if you save those seeds, then those plants will grow into plants that are probably very susceptible to that same disease, and then you're just going to keep passing that down to future generations. So just save seeds from healthy plants. So when you are growing plants to save seeds, you want to make sure that plant is healthy and vigorous in every stage of its life. The plant should be strong, they should be healthy, and they should be minimally stressed during those early seed formation and development stages. You want your plant to have the right amount of water. You don't want it to be too much because you'll drown your plants. You also don't want it to be too little. Some plants like even watering. Tomatoes are one of those. And if you're not watering evenly, you're going to stress your plant, and you want to avoid stressing your plants. You also want to make sure that your plants are getting the right amount of light. For example, if you have a full sun plant, don't plant it in the shade. It's not going to thrive. It's not going to be a vigorous plant. You also want to make sure that your plant is getting the right kind of fertilizer that it needs so that it can grow into a good, strong, healthy plant. You also want to take care of your plant during the time when it's starting its seed formation. So when it's starting to produce its flowers, you want to make sure that, again, it doesn't have too little water. This can affect the pollen development and even the flower set. You want to just make sure that it has the proper amount of water. If you don't, it can hurt the health of your seeds. It can lower the number of seeds that you get, and it can affect the vigor of your finished seeds. The only time you really want dry conditions are when that seed is fully formed on the plant and it's going through that natural dormancy process. So the plants that you are going to save seeds from, what you're looking for are robust plants. You want them to be disease-free, and you want them to be productive. If you have a pepper plant that should be full of peppers and it's got 2, there might be something wrong with that plant and you may not want to save seeds from it. You're looking for very vigorous, healthy plants. You're also looking for desirable characteristics to pass on. If you're saving seeds from flowers, you might be looking for a large bloom size. So any large blooms, you're going to save seeds from those plants. You may want something that blooms early or blooms late so you can have more color throughout the year. You're going to save seeds from those flowers. Whatever you're looking for, that's what you want to pass on to the next generation. Just like you can pass on diseased pathogens to future generations, you can pass on desirable things to future generations as well. For vegetables, fruits and vegetables, if there's a plant that is producing something that's particularly tasty, you're going to want to save from that plant. You might also be looking for the size of the fruit. It can be large or small, whatever you're looking for, pass that on to future generations. You're also looking for a plant that has resisted a disease. If you have, for an example, 12 tomato plants, all of them but one has some sort of fungus or some sort of disease, you're going to want to save from that healthy one because it might have a natural resistance to whatever is affecting the other plants. And you want to pass on that natural immunity to future generations. You also want to save from as many plants as you possibly can. It's much more difficult for the home gardener to save from the recommended number of plants to keep that genetic diversity. So a good rule of thumb is just save from as many as you possibly can. During the seed maturing process, the ideal conditions that are going to produce a good vigor, viability, and increase your storage life of your finished seeds are warm, dry conditions. You want to do your best to keep your seeds that are drying on your plants from being rained on. Bean pods are particularly susceptible to mold, mildew, and sprouting in their husks. Last year, I had all these beautiful brown pods on my beans, and there was a day where there was 10% chance of rain, and it rained, and I lost about half of my bean seeds to mold, mildew, and sprouting in the pods. For keeping the seeds dry, as soon as they're fully formed and mature, you're going to want to harvest those seeds, bring them inside, let them finish drying, so that you can prevent problems with your seeds getting moist. Another reason you want to keep your seeds from being moist or getting wet is that this will slow the natural process that the seed goes through in preparation for dormancy. So what happens when your seeds get wet? It slows that process down, so you're in effect stealing that energy from that future seedling, and so that future seedling may not be as vigorous as it could have been because it didn't have as much energy as it could have because it was taken to get that dormancy process finished. You also want to keep them from getting wet because that can shorten your storage life as well. So to get true to type seeds, you're going to want to do some cross-pollination prevention. You plant Clemson spineless okra and you save those seeds and you plant them again, you expect to get Clemson spineless okra. So how do you prevent cross-pollination? In our cross-pollination seminar, we went into great depth and detail on how to do cross-pollination prevention. Today, we're just going to go over 3 easy steps of what you can do. The first one's a little involved, but once you understand it and get your mind wrapped around it, it's going to make your life so much easier. Step 1, know the scientific name. Now you can go to Google and find out the scientific name for your plant and your variety. It usually gets it right, but not always. But don't worry, for any seed that we have in our seed catalog at the Jefferson Seed Library, we've done the work for you and it has that scientific name. So log on to the Jefferson Public Library website, click on Seed Library, and then just scroll down to our seed catalog. You'll see the plant name, the variety, and then the scientific name. So how does the scientific name work? The scientific name is composed of the genus and the specific or the species name, and they are always in italics. The genus is always capitalized, and the specific or the species name is always lowercase. The specific name is never used alone. It is always paired with the genus name. You can also have different varieties within your species. And so you'll see it listed here, the genus, again, capitalized. The species or the specific name is lowercase. And then the variety will be listed after that. In this case, this is a pumpkin, and it's the variety of Halloween. So when you're looking at the specific name or the scientific name, what you're looking for is does the genus match? And if the genus is the same and the specific name is different, they're not going to cross. If the genus is the same and the specific or the species name is the same, they will cross. If the genus is different, you don't have to worry about anything. They're not going to cross. And I should qualify that this is true of most vegetables and flowers. So in our catalog, we have 3 varieties of pumpkin. We have Halloween Big and Kabocha. Pumpkins are the genus Cucurbita. They have several different species or specific names, and you can see them listed here. So when you're planting pumpkins and you want to plant a bunch of varieties of pumpkins, you're going to want to look at the scientific name and see what matches. So for the varieties Big and Kabocha, they are both C maxima, and so any C maxima will cross with any other C maxima. So to break it down further, our Halloween pumpkin is C pepo. C pepo will not cross with the variety Big, which is C maxima. But C maxima will cross with Kabocha, which is also C maxima. For our last example, we'll go back to our seed catalog, and let's say you want to plant both of our varieties of basil. We have Sweet and Genovese, and you want to save seeds from both of these plants. So just go to our catalog, go over to the scientific name. You can see the genus, which is capitalized. Of course, those are the same. You can also see the specific or the species name. Those are also the same. So if you planted both Sweet and Genovese, they're going to cross and you're going to get some kind of other basil that's not Sweet or Genovese. So you're going to do step 2, which is plant only one variety. This will make your life a lot easier in so many respects. You're still going to need to know the scientific name for even this step, because there are certain things that will cross that you may not expect them to cross, like zucchini and pumpkins. They're both the same genus, they're Cucurbita. So you want to know what the variety of your zucchini and your pumpkins are to know if those are going to cross. If we go back to our seed catalog, we have our pumpkin Halloween and our zucchini Black Beauty. They both are the same genus and they both have the same specific name as well. So Black Beauty will cross-pollinate with Halloween. You'll get some sort of Franken squash. But if you planted one of our other varieties, if you remember, those were C maxima. And so the Black Beauty will not cross with the C maxima because their scientific names do not completely match. You can also do step 3, which is isolation. You can cage plants or bag blooms. You can follow isolation guidelines. This is a little more challenging for a home gardener because a lot of the distance isolation guidelines fall into the range of 1 to 2 miles. Most of us just don't live that far apart from our neighbors. And so you're probably going to want to go more of the route of caging plants or bagging blooms. You might have to do some hand pollination if you go with this route. As we learned last time, zucchini, if you cage that like I did in this picture here, you're going to need to hand pollinate those flowers so that you get true to type seeds. These are just sheer curtains that I got from the dollar store, sewed them together and made a little cage. This has the added benefit as well of keeping that squash borer, which can decimate your zucchini plants, out of the zucchini. I do a lot of bagging blooms. I typically do that with my pepper plants. I didn't have any peppers in bloom, so I used my bachelor buttons as an example. So just pretend these are peppers. As soon as that pepper bud has formed, when it's all nice and tightly closed up, go ahead and bag that bloom. You can get these bags at the dollar store, and you just pull that drawstring tight enough so that no insects or wind can blow off the bag, or if the insects get in there, You don't want it to be too tight or you'll cut off that circulation and kill your bud. And then as soon as that pepper has formed, as we learned last time, the pepper flower is self-pollinating, so there's no hand pollination you need to do here. So as soon as that pepper has started to form, I remove the bag, and then I take a colored twist tie, and I put that around the bloom. So I know that that pepper I have isolated. It is going to produce true to type seeds. I know not to pick it. It's not for food. It needs to go through that entire maturing process to get the fully formed and mature seeds before I harvest it. It also has a nice benefit, those colored twist ties. They're easy to put on. They're so noticeable on the plant, and it's very, I can identify right away which one needs to stay on the plant. To sum up, you want to keep your plants healthy. That's crucial to get healthy seeds. Don't save seeds from diseased plants. You want to choose the traits that you want to pass on to future generations. Save from as many plants as you possibly can, and then know that scientific name to prevent cross-pollination. You can also plant only one variety, and you can also do isolation. All of this information and so much more can be found at the Jefferson Public Library website. Just click on Seed Library. That website is here. If you have any questions, you can also email me. If I don't know the answer, I email our Master Gardener, Brandy Pethel, and her email is listed below.